Hello everyone. I wanted to talk about what does it mean for a character to win in a book or a story, because I don't think that a character winning in a story, winning the plot, defeating the villain, succeeding, is as simple as just uh, defeating the situational plot, because ultimately in every story there are two conflicts. There is the situational conflict between the main character and the villain or some kind of external force, but there is very often a moral conflict, either a moral conflict within the main character, or for example, let's say the villain is trying to corrupt the main character, and so and in many stories, the main character will win both conflicts, but it doesn't always have to be that way, because a character, for example, may win the situational conflict, but could lose the moral conflict. Now, how could that happen? So, for example, let's say that a character defeats the villain, but they use unethical means. Well, that would mean that they win the situational conflict, but they lose the moral conflict. For example, if Batman kills the Joker, which the Joker wants him to do, then he may win the situational conflict, but lose the moral conflict. But there are other situations, for example, where the villain may win the situational conflict, but lose the moral conflict. Well, how could that happen? Well, if the hero or the main character, if they sacrifice themselves for love, if they give themselves up for the greater good, then they could lose the situational conflict but win the moral conflict, because they will be more noble than the villain, and possibly the villain may even realize that. So just remember, there are two different conflicts: situational conflict and moral conflict. And I think stories tend to be very dull, not always, if if the main character wins both conflicts. I think it's far more interesting if the main character loses at least one of the conflicts. So I think that's something to keep in mind while writing.